Rennie Good was a gifted soul, a writer and a poet and a mother, wow. She tried to hit an agent with her car, oh no! Pop motherfucker, now she's gone! Yeah! Being a fucking liberal is a mental disease. Blue-haired and fuckables with the septum ring. You are not a hero, you're a fucking disease. You fuck around and find out it's what it is. Jeffrey Pretty was a Jewish homo. Started talking shit to protect a chomo. He was getting nicked when he pulled a gun. Bam, motherfucker, now you're gone. Being a fucking liberal is a mental disease. Blue-haired and fuckables with a septum ring. You are not a hero, you're a fucking disease. Fuck around and find out what that is.
Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to the program. Do me a finger, will you please? Don't just sit back and give me the finger. Actively give me the finger. Click that like or share or follow or Rumble, whatever platform you're on, and share this program. We're just going to have a casual conversation today. So I'm just kind of taking it easy. Today's program is brought to you by the fine folks at Goldco. Here's what I'm asking you to do. I'm just asking you to go to jovanlovesgold.com, because now's the time to protect your money with gold and silver. And one of the ways to do it is request your free gold and silver kit today. Just feed your brain, find out the information. If you don't know how the system does it to you, you can't defend against it. Gold and silver are very, 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 very important strategy. Very important strategy. On this edition of Cut the Crap, Culture, Race, and American Politics, we're going to look at what went on in Dallas, Texas, Frisco, as a matter of fact, which is just a northern suburb of Dallas. We're going to take a look at something brewing there. Now, I know there's quite a bit going on when it comes to just talking about election stuff going on right now, and sadly, people waking up 2,045 days later from when we started exposing it, because you're watching an election actually being flat out stolen in California and Los Angeles. And maybe I just think about all this sad time, because we've had enough time. I told you it was coming. I told you what they were going to do. But here we are. And that's why this has always been a war. But I think the system's getting ready to trip this war into a civil war. I really do. Share this program. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to give you a few minutes to do it. We're going to talk about some of the stuff being said and going on the ground in North Texas. And I'm going to give you both sides of the equation. Share this program now. We'll get started after these.
California expects 7 million mail-in ballots to be counted when all is said and done. But the problem is they are still counting and need more days to determine the final results. Officials expect the turnout to be 84% or better. Where else in history did this happen? In 2020, Maricopa County, Arizona did the same thing. 2.1 million ballots, with officials claiming better than an 84% turnout. Problem is, it was not the truth. Here is the truth about mail-in ballots, no matter the state. They are printed on official ballot paper. They have color on them. They are precisely machine-folded for mailing, and they are sent through the mail to voters. Yet in Maricopa County, Arizona, here is what forensics of each of those ballots discovered. 1,700,066 plus ballots should have come back with these exact forensic markers. Yet 153,900 were claimed to have been official mail-in ballots. But they were not on official paper. They were not in color, and they were not machine-folded. That's padding the mail-in vote almost 9%. If California right now is following the same playbook that worked in Maricopa, Arizona in 2020, then as many as 630,000 ballots were used to rig the primary. This is kinematic artifact detection, and the only way to know what really happened in any election. Ever heard of the California Quick Peek election hack? It works like this. Start by sending out mail-in ballots 1 month before the election. Make sure there are tons of bad and fake voters already on the voter rolls. Then, as the mail-in ballots come in, pre-process them. What is pre-processing? You take the ballot out of security envelope, scan in the ballot because this allows you to know what is on voter them, but don't count those ballots yet, until you need them. What do I mean, don't count them until you need them? You see, even though mail-in ballots come in first, when it comes to making the vote recorded as a count, Election Day ballots are counted first, and they run mail-in ballots last. Why the flip-flop? This defies logic. They are already pre-processed. You see, the system knows exactly how many ballots or votes are needed to win the election at any one time. Now all they need is the slow roll. What's the slow roll? Well, they say there are too many ballots to count, so we need more time. It's a simple time hack. While counting slow, the system magically finds voters on the rolls who did not vote. And out of nowhere, a ballot suddenly appears. Bingo! Somehow, just enough ballots show up to make it look like a tight race, hard fought to the bitter end, while deifying all logic. It is a JIT ballot. That's a just-in-time ballot, magically appearing when the system needs it to swing a race. Now you know.
Did you know that North Carolina submitted its voter rolls data to the Systematic Alien Verification for Entitlements database and found 34,000 bogus voters? This is why President Trump has been working to verify the voter rolls and knows it is all about the mail-in ballots. Except the system works against President Trump every day. Pillow pusher and misinformation dealer Mike Lindell put his hotshot election integrity team on the road to over 400 cities to peddle one huge lie. Don't worry about the voter rolls. It's like sweeping his dirt floor. And it's the machines. Good thing President Trump knows better, or North Carolina would have never known about the illegal 34,000 voters they had on the rolls. Problem is that people believe in the pillow that suffocated America versus doing what is right for America, and now Michael Lindell wants to be governor of Minnesota. Will that change anything, or will Minnesota under Michael Lindell be business as usual? You decide. But sit back and watch. If it's like Lindell's PCAP sham or his Tina Peters horrible handling, you are more than likely going to have to eat your pillow. Stop the madness.
Riddle me this. If Venezuela and Serbia rig USA elections according to anonymous whistleblowers, and voting machines change the votes in order to rig said elections, then how are Venezuela, Serbia, and voting machines managing to drop off physical ballots in drop boxes and having them arrive late in the mail to be counted as well? Wake up, folks! It has always been bad voters on the voting rolls. This is exactly what you see going on in California right now. Now think of all the precious time we all lost on the big con. It's the voting machines changing the votes. It is, and has always been, people, paper, and programs.
Did you know one man changed the entire face of election integrity in the USA in 2020? Here is the story. Maybe you have heard it? One man, supposedly, infiltrated an Antifa Zoom call in September 2020. Allegedly, on said call, a voting system company executive said, "Don't worry about the election. Trump is not gonna win. I made fucking sure of that." What was the evidence of such a call ever happening? Nothing. Not a recording, or an email, or a phone record, or even a live witness. But it was not a total loss. For the voting systems company, that is. The voting system company filed $10 billion in lawsuits. Then the voting systems company was paid in excess in $1 billion in damages. A company which had, according to Dun and Bradstreet filings, $36 million in annual sales. The bogus claim enabled the voting system company to make 2,700 more times in these lawsuits than they ever made as a company. Every case which included the bogus story of "I infiltrated an Antifa Zoom call" was booted from court. On the other hand, the voting system company, made out like a bandit. Question is, who was the real bandit? The voting system company or the one man who claimed the story to begin with? Comment below.
How well does your bullshit meter work? Tell me if this passes your sniff test. Mike Lindell claimed to have all the PCAPs from the 2020 general election. Mike then held a cyber symposium to share the PCAPs proof with the world. Yet when the cyber symposium was held, it ended up not being about PCAPs or evidence, but was made about Tina Peters instead. You know Tina. She was sentenced to 9 years in prison. But get this. Mike presented 0 PCAPs at the cyber symposium, but he did broadcast that Tina may have stolen the data from her elections. Result? Tina goes to prison. But here is where it gets worse. Mike Lindell's expert on the PCAPs, Dennis Montgomery, never produced the PCAPs. Mike Lindell admitted in court that he never, ever actually had the PCAPs to begin with. And moreover, Dennis Montgomery could not testify in court about the existence of the mysterious PCAPs since he was a long-protected CIA witness. But here is where it really starts to smell. In Tina's case, the expert dolphin speaker was a fellow named Conan Hayes. He is the person which posed as a county employee to take the election data. But he could not testify on behalf of Tina Peters at her trial because, get this, he is a protected government witness as well. Mike Lindell is 2 for 2 in his choice of experts, while Tina Peters got 9. Where does this rank on your bullshit meter from 1 to 10? Answer below.
Let's test your common sense, shall we? The California primary election was over days ago, yet mail-in ballots keep coming in to be counted and Dems keep surging ahead. So, what is making this happen? A whistleblowing Venezuela team keeps printing ballots and getting them to California to use? Or B, an anonymous Serbia code writer is making scanners print mail-in ballots? C, Antifa hijacked the California elections over Zoom and that's what is going on? Or D, a bull artist in a bow tie theorizes a 6th-degree polynomial is in action? Or E, your eyes are wide open now, and the real problem is the nefarious voter rolls and fraudulent use of mail-in ballots. If you chose A, B, C, or D, then you use the promo code PILLOW to get distracted. But if your choice was E, then your eyes are wide open and you now finally see the rig for what it was and has always been: people, paper, and programs.
Warning. The following program has been rated Gilligaff and is intended for open-minded audiences. If the truth offends you, or if you are allergic to focused intensity, intellectual athleticism, or the occasional F-bomb or even irreverent humor, please switch off now. If your delicate sensibilities need to be worried about or addressed, might we recommend the Underwater Basket Weaving channel to you? Otherwise, sit back, enjoy the wisdom, insight, and wicked sense of humor.
Cut the crap. How many times a day do you want to say that to politicians? The elite, the loony liberals, the fake news media, and the gender-confused, emotional socialist snowflake crowd. Cut the crap is your secret weapon for fighting for our freedoms and our great republic. It all begins with a massive mental enema, freeing you from the toxic news and politically correct views, which constipate your consciousness with stinking thinking. Your host, Jovan Hutton Pulitzer. He's known for calling out politicians and telling them to cut the crap. You've seen him on virtually every television network and listened to him on Coast to Coast Radio. And now he's here to help you learn to fight for America. Culture, race, and American politics. They all have one thing in common. They all need to cut the crap. Now, here's your host, Jovan Hutton Pulitzer.
Okay, guys, here we go. Make sure you've shared the program. I'm telling you, there's a black powder keg. Double meaning there. And it's wanting to explode into civil war. I'll get to the point real quick. As I watch the trends, as I watch what's going on, I believe the system is working to ignite a race-based black civil war in the United States of America. I told you the thing they need to fall in the United States of America is our Second Amendment rights to carry guns. This is what they're after. That nothing will change as far as dominating our country and truly taking it over until they get rid of our guns. So I believe the system is very close to triggering the race war. They're getting better and better at it. They're planting the seeds for it. And the only thing there is to defend against it is not rhetoric, not threatening each side, not we built the gallows, get the rope. That's bullshit. That's what triggers civil war. It basically, you have to be able to understand it for what it is, to inoculate yourself against the psychological warfare, and to be calm and level and deal in facts. But I truly, truly believe the system's triggering us to a race war. Now, in a North Dallas suburb, Frisco, beautiful town. I love Frisco. Had a home there for decades and decades and decades. Watched that little town grow from a small train town to something that's very significant now. And so this is not the typical place you would think something like this would happen, but in a very short piece, school track meet or area track meet, it gets rained out. There's a tent for ex-track members to be in for this team, tent for this team to be in, and for some reason, a kid decides to go in the tent of the opposing team. And even though they tell him to leave, tell him to leave, tell him to leave, tell him to leave, he doesn't. Basically, things get provoked. One of the people from one side says, look, you need to get your ass out of here, pushes him out. That kid, Carmelo Anthony, pulls a knife, stabs the kid in the heart, kills him. Now, media has been stoking this up for a long time. It's another George Floyd repeat. And yesterday, the kid was found guilty and sentenced to 35 years in prison. Of course, they're telling you this is the white man did it. It's a rig. It's the crap. It's whatever the case may be. So we're going to look at all sides and just talk about what's being shared. This first piece I'm going to share with you is the longest clip I gathered, but I want you to hear as much from the outside, not me, and then we'll discuss it as each one plays. Here we go.
On the left, you've got Carmelo Anthony, and on the right, we got Austin Metcalf. Now, the reality is, while there are crowds of minorities outside of the courthouse, the real thing that's going on here is violence against white people have skyrocketed. You know, maybe it's all the propaganda. I know that has a large part in the Black Lives Matter, that whole deal of a farce. And that's just the reality of what's going on. But what I wonder is all the propaganda being rolled out, and black people are constantly being told, hey, the country is racist, you know, everybody's against you, you know, it's the system, it's the reason why the neighborhood looks like it does, and all of these things. If this is going into the psyche of people, and then some people are just downright violent, you know, it is what it is. So, I mean, this picture of people outside protesting is kind of embarrassing. I'm just be frank. You think we could get... Let me turn this down a little bit. You think we could get people showing up maybe like it's parent-teacher PTA meetings and to make a difference in the community, or to stop the violence in your own neighborhoods, and, you know, maybe some type of a rally to stop raising the kids in such a way that they end up violent and on drugs? You think you can get people to show up? You think you can get this much energy and activity where they're actually making signs to saying, hey, maybe we need to clean our streets up and stop, you know, littering and all different other kinds of things in the community, breaking in cars and stealing and being being the most violent race in the population, you know, that only makes up 13% in America, but we're committing all the violent crime The statistics are astronomical when it comes to just a person-to-person ratio. That's the question that I pose to the community, to the neighborhoods. Where's the action and activity and the disgust with that part? I mean, we show up for these things, you know, defending a guy who went into a tent and stabbed and killed somebody, and we're actually rallying outside. Y'all look at that and think about that for a second. And this does not represent all black people. So I know people going to come on and say, oh, yeah, you just want to target that. People start whole campaigns. And I stayed away from the race stuff for a very long time on War Room Georgia, because the show is about me getting myself educated and getting dialed in on the truth and on issues and trying to amplify others that are trying to do the same thing, no matter what they look like or where they come from. It's a freedom movement, and trying to let people know that in America, we have freedom and opportunity. And I didn't want to get off on something about just focusing on the community and then people pigeonhole you into, oh, yeah, you some kind of grifter or something like that. You just want to get on here and talk bad about black people and stuff like that. Have people go around the whole state on a smear campaign about just that. But look at what we do here. You know, this doesn't even make any sense for meaningful progress. If we really want to fix the community, as a good friend by the name of Stacy says, you start in your own four walls of your home. That's how you do it. And you certainly don't show up at protests like this when it is obvious that violent acts has been committed against other people. And then it's like, what are they protesting out here? What are they actually protesting? They got in their cars and drove down, got dressed to actually protest what? To defend a guy who went in somebody else's tent and he wanted to smoke, is what we would say. And he ended up stabbing the guy and killing him. Is this who we are? No, it's not. That doesn't represent me, what you guys see on the screen. It doesn't represent other black people who are law-abiding citizens who just want a good future and who want to live in reality and who want to be honest. That does not represent us at all. These are my thoughts, guys. Austin Metcalf was murdered basically by Carmelo Anthony, who was stabbed and killed. What are your thoughts on the outcome? And furthermore, what are your thoughts on seeing people from the community out here protesting in front of the courthouse? Leave your thoughts and comments down below.
Now, I think he has interesting points. It's not getting out in the neighborhoods, protesting gang wars, drive-bys, getting in the streets, doing donuts, blocking, shutting down, any of that. Why is it showing up at a courthouse? All kinds of legal experts have weighed in on this. And you're going to hear that, well, they didn't have a single black person on the jury. The jury was very diverse ethically, if you look at that. And I think a lot of this is to drive civil war. Let me show you some of the other side and what they're promoting.
Collin County, Dallas, Texas, Arlington, Grand Prairie, Irvin, Dalworth, Plano, Denton, Keller. It ain't safe for none of you white folks to come out this weekend. I'm giving y'all a fair warning right now. And guess what? It's going to be a bunch of niggas outside that look like me. And we ain't out there with no pocket knives. We out there with these. I guarantee y'all going to pay for what that judge just did to Carmelo. If you don't believe me, bring y'all bold ass out this weekend and put on your Austin Metcalf shirts and see what happened to you.
This is increasing. In fact, it was kind of what was going on out front.
I don't have an opinion. I don't have an opinion here.
Just like Carmelo was doing. I'm glad you just said that. That's what Carmelo was doing. Protecting his motherfucking self.
He was protecting himself because he was afraid of the white boys. He was so afraid of the white boys, he went into their tent, challenged them, and wouldn't leave. This is how it's being positioned. What are you noticing so far? Once again, they're not dealing with the criminal. This has been made only about skin color. That's it. And you have a side protesting because the person who is incarcerated has their same skin color. In case you didn't know this has been fairly cut and dry from what I've seen from the beginning. He stabbed the guy. I hear that the jury just almost fell out when they saw the 2-inch gash in this kid's heart who died in his twin brother's arms there on the field. But the system did a GoFundMe and raised fairly close to $1 million for this kid because they played the victimization card. Right? A lot of this didn't work in favor, but this is the stuff I'll show you again going on.
I don't have an opinion. I don't have an opinion here.
Just like Carmelo was doing. I'm glad you just said that. That's what Carmelo was doing. Protecting his motherfucking self.
Only good cracker is a dead cracker. 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 Only good cracker is a dead cracker.
I prefer mine with cheese on it. Salami sometimes too. I like crackers. Now that is America in action because we have free speech. But that is designed to antagonize.
Get my face on camera. We kill crackers. Where I come from, we kill them. And if I ever see you outside of Texas, you gonna have a problem. Yup. I'm gonna wrap you up in that flag and I'm gonna set it on fire. I like the smell of burning flesh, don't you? Don't you? Don't you? See, the time of you having fear on us is over, cracker. It's over, cracker. We ain't scared of you. We gonna do some Nat Turner shit on you, motherfuckers.
Helpful? Hurtful? I wonder why I'd say if I ever see you outside of Texas, is that because a lot of them were bussed in? That's one of the things people aren't talking about, is a lot of these protesters were bussed in. Not everybody feels this way, though.
I'm just going to be real serious and simple about this shit. Fuck Carmelo Anthony and fuck you if you motherfucking agree with him. If you think that nigga was motherfucking scared for his life and he should have stabbed that motherfucker in the chest, you's a dumb motherfucker. Because at the end of the motherfucking day, you could line up 12 blind jurors, not giving a fuck what orientation sexually they are, what race they are. You give me 12 blind motherfuckers and tell them motherfuckers the facts, and they gonna find that little nigga guilty. It's that simple. I don't give a fuck how you twist it, side it, put it, how you want a motherfucker smear it and cover it with whatever the fuck you want. The nigga is guilty and he going to hell. The worst part is, you motherfuckers went and ran all this motherfucking money up for that motherfucker, and his family went and bought a house. They took care of shit, and at the end of the day, that nigga ain't gonna have money for commissary or to take care of his motherfucking ass when he get there, because the white boy's gonna run through that motherfucker. Niggas don't want nothing to do with him because they ain't motherfucking dealing with some civil bullshit war in prison over a dumb nigga that did some shit he could have took care of his goddamn self with his hands. It's that simple. If you don't like that and you don't understand that, fuck you and your feelings because you not grown enough to realize that nigga fucked up. And when you fuck up, you gotta be held accountable for your shit. And if you don't like that, fuck your feelings. I don't care.
I just wish he would have been more direct. I'm telling you, the feedback for this is all over the place. And then there's the typical race baiters. Here's when the jury was out.
All right, y'all, really quick, I wanted to give you an afternoon update. The jury has begun the formal process of deliberations, okay? So we're going to go back in as soon as we're called back, okay? The closing arguments for both the state and the defense, they're done. They each received 35 minutes to present their case. The state passed the floor to the defense team, and they got the party started, okay? So this is what happened. Mike Howard shined today. He's a technical guy when it comes to law. And when I tell you he made it all make sense, whether you agree or not, what is the job of the jury as it relates to the law? And one thing he said is, listen, right, wrong, or indifferent. This is not about what you approve of, what you disapprove of. This is about the law. And according to the law, Carmelo Anthony is legally allowed to carry a 3.5-inch knife. And even though he carried the knife to a school event, it's not against law. It may violate school policy, but he did not break the law. He also leaned into the self-defense theory, and he says under Texas law, Carmelo Anthony is not required to wait for Hunter Metcalf or Austin Metcalf to harm him. According to Texas law, if you believe beyond a reasonable doubt that an individual has the propensity to harm you, you are allowed to defend yourself. He described Carmelo Anthony as being surrounded by a group of boys that were very large. He highlighted the difference in the weight. He said, we're talking 130 pounds versus 213 pounds times 2. And then you have all of these other guys that are shouting, leave, 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 but you're surrounding him. He's still seated, and you all are in the aggressive position. He talked about the testimony of the medical examiner when she talked about the angle of the knife wound, and he physically demonstrated in the courtroom intentionality. If I wanted to intentionally kill you as it relates to first-degree murder, I would go like this, or I would go like that. He said, but in the case of Carmelo Anthony, the medical examiner testified that it was like this. So then he also reminded the jury that the state failed to establish a motive. And he said, I ask you, what motive would Carmelo Anthony have to walk into a tent to intentionally take the life of a young man he does not know? Your job is to base your decision off the law. And if there's any reasonable doubt, you are to find him not guilty of first-degree murder.
So a few other questions. If his intent is at what question, what was his intent going to the opposite team's tent? What was his intent for bringing a knife anyway? What was his intent for all the stuff on social media where he's brandishing weapons, black gang signs? Of course, they never showed you that. What was his intent? What was his intent when a tremendous amount of students at the school testified, this guy always stirs trouble? What was his intent when it said this guy was always looking for a fight? What was his intent when he didn't leave? To me, yeah, this might mean I want to kill you. This means I got you because you snuck it out from underneath, which is exactly what you did. Went right up, right? So what was your intent? Of course, they've turned this into a race thing, and everybody's trying to grapple with this information.
35 years. If he was white, we wouldn't even be here today. It would have never came to court. It would have never been no handcuffs. We wouldn't be here today.
he was white and he stabbed somebody and killed them, he wouldn't have never been in handcuffs. Hell, the police wouldn't have showed up. Hell, they'd have sent him a birthday cake. Really?
You got 35? 35 years! If he was white, we wouldn't even be here today. It would have never came to court. It would have never been no handcuffs. We wouldn't be here today. But because somebody didn't know how to go get an adult like we all are taught, somebody's life was on the ground and somebody's in jail for something that should have been self-defense. Self-defense. They said we're supposed to know how to act around white people. What the fuck is that? What for? What is that? What is self-defense? Is self-defense not somebody touching you that you don't want touching you and you defending yourself? What is self-defense? Murder? Murder? Hold on. The same guy that saved the life? The same guy that saved the life? You should have taught your sons to go get a motherfucking adult like we know how to do. But that was in his motherfucking face. You don't get the put murder on somebody's child because that could have been your motherfucking son. No, that could have been anybody's motherfucking son. 35 motherfucking years. Mother's a motherfucking mother. You should have said don't give that man no motherfucking mess. They said 5 to 99 to life. You should have said 5. Because you know that shit wasn't trying to go down like this. 35 years.
Hey, I went to school over here, the same fucking school. I had the same problem. I had to fight every fucking day. Every day. And my friend, I couldn't deal with none of my problems at school. Outside of school. Dead ass. So I know how he feel. That shit is, that's some fuck shit. That's some fuck shit.
So one of my friends came out and said that Carmelo's not taking nothing good. He steady crying. He said they won't even let the parents console him. They won't even let the parents console him. They won't let him take him to the conference room. They will not let him console him. He keep crying and trying to calm down. If that boy ends up doing something to himself, that's y'all blood. That's his blood on y'all hands. I feel y'all need to stop your kids from bullying.
He got his binoculars out.
If you don't want your goddamn
they think this shit a game. They said that the judge, this is his last case. He wanted this case personal.
But the judge wasn't even supposed to be on the case.
It was a black lady.
Why? Because you in the fucking picture with the fucking people coming out.
Who that is? That's the lady that was in there.
Wasn't even supposed to be this judge. It was supposed to be a black. All these conspiracy theories coming out. Then things like, well, they wouldn't even let his family console him. I don't care who you are. If you get convicted in court, you're perp walking out. Nobody gets to console you. You don't get to go to a side conference room and console you. And I know people are emotional, but you can see how emotionally charged this is. Some people are thinking logically, though.
This fucking chimp right here killed a white child and has gained millions of fucking supporters, all of them being niggers, of course. But I'm just gonna say, black supremacy is the most dangerous ideology in this fucking world. And the whole Carmelo Anthony and the whole Rick Chow thing just tells you these people are fucking brain dead niggers. The thing they don't get is when you be a nigger, you get consequences like jail time or being killed. Either one of those. Black people think they can get away with every fucking thing and protest about it when they get the consequences. It does not fucking work that way anymore like it did in 2020 when y'all were being ass kissed by every fucking person on this planet. Nobody gives a fuck about you niggers anymore. We want y'all gone, including us black people. We want you fuckers gone. The Rick Chow thing, Asian people have every fucking right to hate y'all. They've been hating y'all since the beginning of time, and I can honestly sympathize with them. Because you people go into their stores and fucking steal. You terrorize them. You've been beating their fucking grandmothers up for the past fucking years. What the fuck happened to Asian Lives Matter? Everybody remembers it all died down because niggers were the ones committing the crimes against Asians. I'm just gonna say one more thing. Niggers, you see every fucking race is fucking tired of you. You cannot keep boycotting everything that goes against your fuck-ass culture. You can't boycott every fucking race. You can't boycott every fucking thing. You have to realize it's y'all. It's you niggers that keep fucking up your own image. It's not Asian people because you were attacking them. It's not white people because y'all are actively fucking killing them. Y'all are killing black people too. And y'all don't really give a fuck about that. Mexicans are tired of y'all. Ashley Gonzalez, beautiful mention right there. Women like her, we need more of her. I'm just gonna say that. You can't boycott everything because everybody's fucking tired of y'all shit. It's time y'all fucking change or we will do something about it. Plain and simple.
How does that strike you? Both sides. See, you'll see me. I'd started a hashtag a while back, just simple black fatigue. You've seen it taken off. It's black fatigue, and it's black fatigue also within the black community. This race baiting crap, people are tired of it. All Americans are tired of it, with no regard to the melanin in your skin. So you have to be pretty low IQ to buy into it. People are starting to see this is how it works. Talk about slavery. They're pushing our brains around, but it's still profitable.
I speak on behalf of myself, Minister Dominique Alexander. I speak on behalf of myself as president of the Next Generation Action Network. The Next Generation Action Network wanted to respect this process, to be able to make sure that nobody said that the Next Generation Action Network obstructed this process, interfered in.
I think we should turn this into a drinking game for the next Action Network. Next network, how many times can I work it in a matter of 30 seconds? What do you think? I think we'd be drunk and wouldn't be able to understand, but I'm going to try.
I speak on behalf of myself, Minister Dominique Alexander. I speak on behalf of myself as president of the Next Generation Action Network. The Next Generation Action Network wanted to respect this process, to be able to make sure that nobody said that the Next Generation Action Network obstructed this process, interfered in this process. But what this process did is shown that black lives do not matter in Collin County. It showed us that time and time in American history, it has shown us to remove emotions from yet the law. This trial showed that it put emotions over the law. After Trayvon Martin and so many countless names, it has shown us that black life is not safe in Collin County. It showed us that they did not listen to the law. It showed clearly that a judge interfered in this process. It showed very clearly that a black boy was allowed not one black soul on a jury. An all white jury convicted him in 2 to 3 hours. We know that they did not prove their case. They are currently sentencing Carmelo Anthony, but we know that the Next Generation Action Network put the first $10,000 towards an appellate attorney. And we will fight Collin County like hell. I respected this process. I allowed and called for peace in this process. But black America should be very upset about what went on today. Now, before all of the internet lawyers and before all of the interpretation of the situation, I'm only an advocacy leader. I'm not an attorney. I can only help families be able to navigate these processes when they find themselves in this type of situation.
This helps raise money. You're only seeing the next generation of Al Not So Sharp and Jesse Jackass running to the thing, keeping it stirred up because they get donations. It makes them money just to be there and appear there. I think somebody said that even fellow has a pretty serious, right, rap sheet. But I actually think a lot of this stuff might not be working as much as it used to, but they sure are pouring a lot of money into it. But I think people who value being Americans and not hyphenated are waking up.
Only black people are at the point where they will feel sorry for the criminal and the murderer more than the actual person who's not with us anymore. The actual victim, they don't care about. Everyone feels sorry for this little monster. I never felt comfortable around you niggas. That's why I got the hell away from y'all. Y'all think this is a game, like, oh, you're just saying this for likes and clicks. No, I'm not even near you niggas. My kids don't go to school with you niggas. This ain't for likes. This is for real. Like growing up when my friends would come over, hey, my dad would check them at the door. Listen, man, you gotta take that do-rag off. This do-rag ain't allowed here. My dad didn't like do-rags. Because he watches the news. He see who's doing the killing. Take that do-rag off before you come over. And that's all. Like, and you know, when I was a kid, I didn't understand. I'm like, why is dad like this? What's going on with dad, Ma? Why is he tripping? Why is he embarrassing me? My mom sat me down, told me a story. Listen, your dad's seen a lot of things. What do you mean, Ma? What happened? You know, I never told you this, and don't tell your father I told you, but when we were young, you know, we used to party at your dad's house, you know, when we were 16, and his brother had just come home from the military. His brother was older, you know, your father looked up to him. He was kind of the protector of the home. Everybody loved him. He was just a great guy. Just came home from the military. You know, and they threw a party for him. Celebrating, everybody celebrating downstairs. What happens? A knock on the door. My father's brother goes up the stairs, opens the door. What is it? A bunch of monsters. You know, do-rag wearing monsters. Yo, we want to come to the party. My father's brother tells him, no, you're not allowed. Nobody else is allowed. We're going to just keep having this party and you guys are going to leave. What do? Oh, yeah? Put a gun to his head, shoot him in the head. He fall down the stairs, dies in front of my dad. My dad is traumatized by y'all. From that moment, man, he just didn't want nothing to do with you. He stayed in Brooklyn a little longer, seen more things happen, and then he got to them books. Yo, I got to get out of here. I cannot raise a family here. It's not safe. It's a reason why people want to get away from y'all. You have an animalistic monster mentality. Nobody wants to be around. Shoot first, ask questions later. That's how y'all move. Y'all don't even fight no more. Ain't no hands, one-on-ones. Y'all just go straight to killing. Obviously, it's not all black people. There's a lot of good black people out here. There's a lot of monsters as well. And it's not hard to tell who's who. And that is exactly why Austin Metcalf didn't want that boy around. And he was right.
Did you key in on the words that told a lot about his life? My mom and my dad. My dad didn't want to raise us around that crap. My dad didn't even let that symbology walk in the house. That's the difference between a family with values and a family, unfortunately, that's been pimped by the media and enslaved. Luckily, I think America's waking up to this.
So Carmelo Anthony gets found guilty of ending the life of Austin Metcalf, and people out there, full-grown human adults, are actually upset because they were supporting him because the color of his skin matched theirs. And they expect that people like myself will also take up for him. I'll be the first to tell you that nothing could be further from the truth. I will never stand with those kinds of people, and neither should you. See, all the BLM or this or that or diversity buzzwords, so on and so forth, it was never about that. It was always about black supremacy. You know it and I know it. Like, we're at a point now where individuals will literally crowdfund for someone who ended the life of someone else who honestly had no business bringing a knife to a track meet in the first place, but I digress. But this is the world we live in, and this kind of anger, this kind of vitriol can truly only come from this deep-seated hatred of white people. That really is what it boils down to. And the fact that people are upset that we got the accurate verdict handed down goes to show just how many people out there really do think that black people should be allowed to play by a different set of rules. And I will not stand with those kinds of people. There's plenty of people out there who are tired of seeing the way that many in the black community have been allowed to act for so long, and they're getting tired of it with very, very good reason. I myself am one of them. So I am happy that we actually were able to get a guilty verdict, and I'm hopeful now that the sentencing portion will actually give him a punishment worthy of that crime. Those are my thoughts. Hopefully you agree. If you do, let me know in the comment section down below.
See, it's hate. It's division. And I think people are starting to see it. But see, this is where the mental stability wild card comes in, because they've convinced people. I've always told you this, it's the hyphens. The hyphens. When they hyphenated all of us, Mexican American, Black American, even when they went to the extent African American, had nothing to do other than tying a people of color to Africa so they could say you were stolen and brought here. That's all it had to do with. One simple word change. That's it. And look how it's completely rewritten a narrative. This is why the hyphen is bad. And that's because the hyphens, there's no common ground. That's why I say now where we are is you either are for America surviving or you're not. That's all there is to it, folks. It's no different than election integrity. You are either for the absolute truth of how we end it and get prosecutions, or you buy into the bullshit because it's just an influencer or somebody wears a cross on their outside to convince you a Christian. You're buying into the same rhetoric. It is prevalent on both sides. And the key to all of this for us winning is to remain calm. We must call it out. We shouldn't get to screaming and jumping and jig dancing and everything else with it. We should literally just be calm and fight this for truth for what it is. This is a designed war to destroy America, to pit Americans against Americans, so everybody ends up getting into fight doing the dirty work of the system. All of these are con games, and they're running hundreds of con games all the time, nonstop, all the time. It is about the survival of America. Elon is an African American. There you go. There's money. Follow the money. The right does the same thing. The left steals money for riots and puts it in nonprofits and does this and get people to protest. If you follow the money, what does the right do? Get money from donations, puts it in nonprofits, and get people to spread false messages that will never get this fixed. It is all top to bottom a racket. I'm telling you, if you think this is only one-sided, this attack and war, you're lost. This is all sides. It is complete chaos. But if we are measured, if we will take time to learn, if we'll take time to look at facts, set emotions aside and just look at facts, you can see it clearly. And it is when you can see it clearly, you begin to inoculate yourself against it, and then you finally find the courage to stand up against it. But I told you, our country is at a full-fledged war, and it is a freaking powder keg about to explode, and I think they want a civil war. I love you all. Share this program.
Rennie Good was a gifted soul, a writer and a poet and a mother, wow. She tried to hit an agent with her car, oh no! Pop, motherfucker, now she's gone! Yeah, yeah, yeah! Being a fucking liberal is a mental disease. Blue-haired and fuckables with the septum ring. You are not a hero, you're a fucking disease! You fuck around and find out it's what it is! Homo started talking shit to protect a chomo. He was getting nicked when he pulled a gun. Bam, motherfucker, now you're gone. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Being a fucking liberal is a mental disease. Blue-haired and fuckables with a septum ring. You are not a hero, you're a fucking disease. Fuck around and find out what that is. Yeah.
What up, America? It's Andrew Jackson, that guy you roll up to hit some powder. I founded the Democrat Party and chose the jackass as our mascot. Now, as you can probably tell, times have changed a bit from the party back in my day, and present-day Democrats will come to hate me, but that's your problem. Jackson started the Democrat Party to appeal to the common man. Democrats today sometimes give him credit for that, but only after calling him an evil white bigot. Needless to say, the party started off pretty sketchy by today's standards. We were by far the pro-slavery party all the way through the Civil War.
After the war, we cleaned up our act and supported the North's Reconstruction efforts. Totally kidding, we doubled down on racism and became the party of the Klan.
But seriously, we didn't have much of a platform after the war, except Jim Crow, but that was until our boy came in hot on his rollerblades. Then came the Depression. People lost trust in markets, so I wheeled in to drastically expand communism across the country, and Democrats been hooked ever since. Up until this point, blacks had always voted Republican, as they were the party that freed the slaves. But after FDR's New Deal, blacks swung 75% Democrat. This was a complete realignment, not because of civil rights, but because of economics. All while the Democrats were still the party of the Klan, and their stronghold was the South. We pushed segregation throughout the South and filibustered the 1964 Civil Rights Act for 75 days. It wasn't until Republicans stepped up and found even more votes to pass the bill. So ask yourself, how are Democrats seen as the party of the civil rights? Well, it's because
Democrats are very persuasive. But again, it ultimately boils down to economic incentives. Once Democrats realize the power of government spending and handouts, you can appeal to any voter group and lock them in.
1, 2, 3.
Gays for Palestine.
Good luck with that.
So anyway, to sum it all up, my party has changed a shit ton, but it's not because of the mythical party switch. Democrats controlled the South all the way through the 1990s. But they did adopt new policies like massive social spending and welfare programs that allowed them to appeal to more diverse voting groups.
Did you know one man changed the entire face of election integrity in the USA in 2020? Here is the story. Maybe you have heard it. One man, supposedly, infiltrated an Antifa Zoom call in September 2020. Allegedly, on said call, a voting system company executive said, "Don't worry about the election. Trump is not gonna win. I made fucking sure of that." What was the evidence of such a call ever happening? Nothing. Not a recording, or an email, or a phone record, or even a live witness. But it was not a total loss. For the voting systems company, that is. The voting system company filed $10 billion in lawsuits. Then the voting systems company was paid in excess in $1 billion in damages. A company which had, according to Dun and Bradstreet filings, 36 million in annual sales. The bogus claim enabled the voting system company to make 2,700 more times in these lawsuits than they ever made as a company. Every case which included the bogus story of "I infiltrated an Antifa Zoom call" was booted from court. On the other hand, the voting system company made out like a bandit. Question is, who was the real bandit? The voting system company or the one man who claimed the story to begin with? Comment below.
How well does your bullshit meter work? Tell me if this passes your sniff test. Mike Lindell claimed to have all the PCAPs from the 2020 general election. Mike then held a cyber symposium to share the PCAPs proof with the world. Yet when the cyber symposium was held, it ended up not being about PCAPs or evidence, but was made about Tina Peters instead. You know Tina. She was sentenced to 9 years in prison. But get this. Mike presented 0 PCAPs at the cyber symposium, but he did broadcast that Tina may have stolen the data from her elections. Result? Tina goes to prison. But here is where it gets worse. Mike Lindell's expert on the PCAPs, Dennis Montgomery, never produced the PCAPs. Mike Lindell admitted in court that he never ever actually had the PCAPs to begin with. And moreover, Dennis Montgomery could not testify in court about the existence of the mysterious PCAPs since he was a long-protected CIA witness. But here is where it really starts to smell. In Tina's case, the expert dolphin speaker was a fellow named Conan Hayes. He is the person which posed as a county employee to take the election data. But he could not testify on behalf of Tina Peters at her trial because, get this, he is a protected government witness as well. Mike Lindell is 2 for 2 in his choice of experts, while Tina Peters got 9. Where does this rank on your bullshit meter from 1 to 10? Answer below.
The upcoming 2026 midterms could be a bloodbath for Republicans? How? Consider this. On Election Day 2008, Barack Obama received 69 million votes. In his second term, he racked up 65 million votes, and he was considered the Democrat rock star president. Then Hillary ran against Donald Trump. She received the same 65 million votes. But come 2020, Joe Biden supposedly received 81 million votes. Was he really more popular than Obama or Hillary? Of course not. But that is not the half of it. In the 2024 election, Kamala Harris received 68 million votes. But did you know that now it's almost 2 years after that election, and somehow Kamala Harris has been elevated to over 75 million votes? How does a candidate get 8 million more votes after the election? Is this an attempt to validate the fraudulent 81 million vote fantasy from 2020? You bet. One thing stands between chaos and correcting history, and that is the historic 2020 full forensic archive of Maricopa County, Arizona, the single most detailed full audit of a presidential election in American history, audited over 2 million ballots, generated over 20,895,000 individual proof files. This took 58 billion forensic measurements, resulting in over 2 trillion individual base computations. This evidence must be kept for any and all future court cases, Supreme Court cases, and preserved for all time, eventually at the Trump Presidential Library. That is why we need you. You, the people, made this history happen, and now you, the people, can have a hand in making sure this evidence is saved for future generations. Please donate. Please help us. Donate now to continue to preserve a chain of custody state of the only legal court-ready evidence of the 2020 election disaster, the 2.1 million physical ballots, the single largest forensic audit of a presidential election in American history. Please donate now and preserve history.
Here's what is inside the pharmacy. Grow Soil Bible. Beautiful gardens, bountiful harvests, and homesteading abundant black gold. For too long, modern agriculture has poisoned the very ground beneath our feet. Synthetic NPK fertilizers delivered bigger yields at a devastating cost. They wiped out the teeming microbial life that once made soil rich, alive, and endlessly productive, trapping us in a cycle of chemical dependence and dying farmland. Now is the time to fight back. The Grow Soil Bible takes you on a powerful journey back to the ancient wisdom that created the world's most fertile soils. Discover the secrets of Amazonian terra preta, also called black gold, born from biochar, fish bones, compost, and microbial magic. Master the art of Chinese green tea composting and Japanese bokashi to transform kitchen scraps and yard waste into living, breathing super soil. Whether you're a backyard gardener, passionate homesteader, or family determined to build real food security, this book gives you everything you need. Step-by-step instructions, precise natural ingredients lists, and proven techniques to grow your own ultra-fertile dirt instead of buying dead bags from the store. Become a true dirt farmer. Revive the microorganisms that power life. Break free from synthetic slavery and slow chemical suicide, and create abundant, nutrient-dense harvests that feed your family for generations. Your garden, your orchard, your future. It all starts with the soil. Reclaim the earth. Grow your own black gold.